okay? So, as we said, if we look at the left-hand one, this was your before, very sort of knee squatty, sitting down on the heels there, sort of just putting a lot of weight now back towards the heels, making it very difficult to have for you to swing the golf club in the sort of direction we want to swing. The more your weight goes this way, the more your club direction will go with it, okay? So as we go back now, sort of taking the club away, you can see as you get to the halfway back, your hands now, at this point, long way back behind your chest, okay? The club coming into the golf ball here now, as you come back in, is going to come back in from the inside too much. As you hit the golf ball, the ball then just sails out towards the right. This was a reasonable strike from, no, it was a bit off the bottom of the club, but the direction was out to the right, as you can see, just too far from the inside with the club, and just boom, out to the right it goes. This was a much more on your arch of your feet, with the club being there. You look a lot more kind of like taller in your setup. And the weight to you at the moment will feel a little bit on the toes. It isn't the toes, but it's just further forward to where you thought it was before. Now, obviously, at the moment, your kind of middle feeling is back here. As you're tilting and tipping it forward, it will start feeling more in the right spot. So there's going to be a point where you actually don't want to go too far, because if you just keep going your tiptoes too much, you'll create another fault the other side. There's obviously too much on the heels, too much on the toes, and finding that middle ground. We want the weight to be where that club is there, through the arches of your shoes or your foot. Okay, heel and toes back and forth, nice and balanced. Now, if you look at this swing now as you go back, okay, because your balance is a lot better, look at your hands now in front of your chest. So they're more in line with where you want to go. Okay, we compare this movement there, halfway back there. There you go. Look where your hands are there. Okay, so club at sort of similar position. There's the edge. Come here. There's the edge of your torso. Edge of your torso there. See the hands now kind of just like getting behind you too far. So as you come back the golf ball here now, go back a bit further, that's fine. Come in the golf ball in now. The golf ball now is struck. The ball now hits pretty much dead centre of the white line there. Because your club is now swinging towards target, which results in that golf ball now going down the driving range straighter. Now, because your feet were on this, they don't move through the ball, which is very common because your feet are now very much grounded. If we actually look at these two movements, I would say that movement on the left is far better. So because that club is under your feet, you're thinking about keeping your feet on the ground and keeping balanced. You kind of forget to do the normal. It's not a problem. It's just, I think, once you become more aware of your kind of body positioning and your feet, then you can allow this to happen. At the moment, because you're thinking about where the weight distribution is in between your feet here now, your feet are quite fixed and quite grounded. Once it becomes, oh, this is my feet position, I just know that's there for a fact now, I've got to worry about it. This right foot now will start doing more what that one's doing there, okay? And that'll improve your shots then still further again. So we'll be going as straight and maybe a little bit further because you're going to be releasing a bit more power. But the moment now it's about focusing on that setup position. I think grip-wise for starters, looser. I think
is my grip okay?
Grip position is not too bad. There's a couple of things I wanted to have a quick look at to start with, but for the most part your grip's good. On occasions, on some of the shots I saw from face on, it does start creeping a little bit up towards the lifeline, okay, in terms of your palm, and looks a little bit therefore around to the side, which we'll look at in a bit more detail in a second. But for the most part, it looks okay in the fingers there. Thumb and your hands are kind of working together nicely there in terms of the grip. It's just, for me, it looks like you're squeezing on for dear life. And I think sometimes I think everyone I teach golf, to be fair, most of them, if not all, have a grip that's quite tight. We want to be holding that golf club so we can control where that club's going to go. If we squeeze on for dear life, there's just no control. It's going to have a mind of its own, and eventually all the forces of the golf swing that we're going to have, that club can go in all different directions. Okay, so as I say, in terms of follow through on the left hand one, your left hand follow through actually is a lot better. Okay, but with that club under your feet kind of feel almost obliged to kind of stay on that club.
I think that's what it was.
Exactly. I see that all the time when people try and change their footwork. It changes on the way back and it doesn't work on the way through as it normally would do. So we know that's the move you can make normally, so that's not a problem. I'm not worried about you trying to get back to that as of yet. We know we can do that. Okay, once we get ourselves set up where you feel a little bit more kind of, at the moment, like almost pushing that sort of under the balls of your feet there, that sort of big toe pushing down into the ground, kind of feeling that pressure point in your feet, and just in some days being aware of where your weight is, just becoming more self-aware of your body weight. Okay. When someone's tip forward, when you tip forward, does the weight still stay in the middle? Does it tip to your toes, or do you sink back into your heels? Everyone's got a preference either way. Some stay in the middle, some go toes, you go heels. It's no right or wrong, it's your own personal way of doing it, okay? But being aware that you get on the heels too much, and what that causes, the club now to come too far behind you, which just sends the golf club into the golf ball now, swinging too much, unfortunately, from that direction. So good strikes, we're going over here. when you try to redirect the golf ball, you did so, but the ball went straight on the ground. Okay, make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Good
yeah.
stuff.